I'm taking Ghost Rider to the burial site of Davis Tutt. If you ever want to see it, it's in downtown Springfield, Missouri, just a few miles from the Graphic Man Studios. And who is Davis Tutt, you might ask? Well, he was made famous because he was shot in an old-fashioned gunfight going up against Wild Bill Hickok.
Davis Tutt was not the sharpest tool in the toolbox. He couldn't find a cannonball in a bathtub.
Well, it seems that Wild Bill Hickok owed some money to Davis Tutt, and although Hickok paid some of it back, until the final amount was paid, Davis Tutt grabbed Hickok's watch to hold as collateral. Hickok warned Davis Tutt not to wear the watch in public, but Davis couldn't resist. He openly bragged about having Hickok's watch, and they happened to see each other at the town square, which is also just a few miles down the road from the Graphic Man Studios. They sized each other up and both pulled out their guns. They each shot at each other at the same time. Tutt's shot went a little high, but Hickok's shot went straight into the heart of Davis Tutt. They arrested Wild Bill, and he was found not guilty a few days later at the trial.
James Butler Hickok. I could have had a great mustache like that, but it rubs against my mask.
From the cemetery where Tutt was laid to rest, I took Ghost Rider to the town square, and I instructed him on the use of my camera. I am standing where Wild Bill made the shot, and Ghost Rider is standing where Davis Tutt was standing, 75 yards away, which is a very good shot.
I could have made that shot.
And of course, after we filmed this, we kind of had to get out of there quickly because you can imagine the Ghost Rider does start to draw quite a little crowd, some awkward attention. But after leaving Missouri, Wild Bill was famous, and sadly he was shot from behind years later in a town called Deadwood.
I rode through there looking for a one-eyed car dealer named Jack. Guess what people used to call him?
I suppose they called him One-Eyed Jack?
How'd you know?
Well, although Wild Bill Hickok made it into many comic books, a lot of them are kind of pricey. So if you want to get the cheapest lowdown on Wild Bill Hickok, I recommend the Classics Illustrated Wild Bill Hickok. Though, don't be too disappointed, the famous gunfight between Davis Tutt and Wild Bill doesn't appear in this story. They cover pretty much everything else, but for some reason, they didn't bother covering that part of the story. So, your mileage may vary, but there's a Wild Bill Hickok from Classics Illustrated. You should be able to find this relatively on the cheap these days.
What gun are you going to show this time?
Well, I'm going to show you the Harrington and Richardson model 722. Now, a lot of guns have a weird name and number, but this time 722 actually stands for something pretty reasonable. It's called a 722 because it has 722 bullets in it. Hence the name 722. So if I'm in a gunfight with you and you're counting bullets and you say Graphic Man has shot it 6 times, that means it's safe for me to come out. Well, no, I still have one more.
A 7-shooter?
Now, the only downside of having this gun is you have to remove the pin which holds the cylinder, and I will show you up to the camera, and if you want to pause it, well, here, let me put it in front of Ghost Rider. So you might be able to count the 7 holes in it. It shoots 722 bullets. This is the way you load it and unload it. Now it has a little ejector, so when you push the pin right back through it, it ejects the 22 bullets, the shell casings, and then you reload it and you reattach it to your gun. So that may that may not be the greatest if you have to stop and reload and someone's approaching you, but that's why they give you an extra bullet. So if it takes you more than 7 of them, and it's 22, so it's considered the lowest low caliber. So your mileage may vary, but that is the Harrington and Richardson Model 722. Yes, we got mail, and I finally wised up and set up Ghost Rider with his own bank account that I put money into. And in exchange, he does some basic things around the house here. By the way, did you finish splitting that firewood out back?
Almost. Maybe.
So this time, his purchase of another Gabby Hayes Romance didn't catch me by surprise.
That Gabby Hayes is a smooth ladies' man.
Yes, it's the August issue by Marv Wolfman and Gil Kane.
Beautiful.
Yes, indeed. Can't wait to peruse through that and check it out. He always lets me read them after he's done checking them out. So, Gabby Hayes Romance. Can't wait. I also got some mail. This came as a surprise. Well, not really a surprise, but I was surprised in the sense that somebody would actually send this to me. But good old Spinner Rack Studios, our good friend Dave in Colorado, had decided to write me and say, "Hey, do you have that George Wilson book?" I said, No, I sure don't. And he says, "Well, I'm sending you a copy." I couldn't believe it. Totally flabbergasted. Thank you so much, Dave from Spinner Rack Studios. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just a fabulous, gorgeous copy. The Art of George Wilson. For those of you who don't know, he started off Classics Illustrated, Dell, and then later Dell's rival Gold Key, making covers for Turok, Magnus Robot Fighter, Twilight Zone, Boris Karloff, Space Family Robinson, The Phantom. Just about every great cover Golke had. Star Trek, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. This book is fabulous. I was concentrating on other areas of collecting and I made a budgetary decision not to get this. And wow, what a surprise. Thank you, Dave. Thank you. It's great. I've been through parts of it. Korak, Tarzan, you name it. The famous Tarzan where he's got that giant machine gun, Gatling gun. Oh, great stuff. And just look at this. Dynamite. I'm sure other people are showing their copies of the George Wilson book. But thank you again, Dave. Fabulous book. It has a foreword by Joe Tuska. I read the foreword. I can't wait to go through the rest of it. Marvelous. What a great gift. And you guys need to check out Dave's channel, Spinner Rack Studios. Fantastic channel. And he's also got other channels. You check those out too. Great holiday decorations. You name it. Also, we got another piece of mail. Recently, we had a young lady come out to visit us, not really visiting me and my wife, but they visited my son and his wife. This young lady was from Arizona. She flew in here, not to see where Hickok shot Davis Hutt, but she wanted to see my son and his wife. She's good friends with them from the internet. And she was looking at my little hutches and my cabinets in the dining room, where I keep a lot of big little books. And she seemed to be kind of fascinated with those. And my son said, if you like that, you should go check out his other rooms. And she came out here and she saw the boxes of comics. And she quickly found the Uncle Scrooge box. She is an Uncle Scrooge fan. Her name is Savannah. And so I gave her a Uncle Scrooge comic. I explained to her that I'm more of a Donald Duck guy. She took that back to Arizona and she has read it 3 times. I know that because she sent us this nice little hand-drawn card for Christmas. She knows that I'm a Donald fan, and she hand-drew that and watercolored it. Her name is Savannah, guys. Some of you good-looking single young men out there, you might want to try to track her down. I'm kidding, but anyway, she wants to come back and visit, and she said she wants, me to put a cot out here. I think she wants to spend time with the box of Uncle Scrooge comics. So, to each his own. But thank you, Savannah. What a nice card. We just had a great day of getting good mail. So
Yes.
I think it's time. Let's look at some books. Well, we start off with a big little book from 1946. It's Terry and the Pirates. War in the Jungle from 1946. The art is by Milton Caniff. And it's a great big little book. Then we have Adventure Comics number 185 from February 1953. The front cover here is by Win Mortimer. And an old Superboy. Check out the white walls on that one. Forget Power Man, it's Power Boy. And that's from 1956. Then we have Superboy 35, front cover by Win Mortimer, from 1954. The interior art is by Kurt Swan. And then an absolute kooky Lois Lane. You've got to get Lois Lane. It's just tremendous reading. That's number 30. Then we have an oldie, A World's Finest, from 1945. And it's missing this bottom corner, as I'm pointing out, and it's missing a little side by Batman's neck. But I will take it. I'll take anything from 1945. As you can see, Robin has been really putting on the pounds lately. Then I have a nice little paperback of The Phantom, The Golden Circle, by the great Lee Falk. And they have to find the golden circle. Great little paperback. Next I have a hardback of Tarzan. The Return of Tarzan. It's by Whitman Publishing. And I haven't read through this, but I think they have really toned it down, made it easier to read for youngsters. There are some interior illustrations in kind of a gray pencil. Here we have The Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love, number 2. Absolutely stunning colors. Want to get real close so you can see the details. And we'll follow that with Marvel Tales, number 134. Great spaceship issue. Tales to capture your imagination. Here's how you walk into the spaceship. I wouldn't recommend it. Now we follow that up with some Two Gun Kid number 3 from August 1948. Front cover by Sid Shores. And then we have my favorite Two Gun Kid, number 10, Front cover is also by Sid Shores. And it has the horrible hermit. Now we'll go back one to number 9 from August 1949. Front cover by John Severin. Then Two Gun Kid number 19. Front cover by Joe Maneely. This is from 1954. And Two Gun Kid number 26. Front cover by Joe Maneely. October 1955. Two Gun Kid number 35. Another cover by Joe Maneely. February 1957. Here's number 36. Front cover by Joe Maneely. From April 1957. Two Gun Kid 41, April of 1958. You guessed it, another Joe Maneely. And my copy has a couple of wrinkles at the top, but I love them all. Now we're into the real silver age of Jack Kirby. January 1963, it's Two Gun Kid number 61. Thank you for being patient with me. I just eat this stuff up. Here's Two Gun Kid 62 of March 1963. Front cover by Jack Kirby. And a great Indian cover. Two Gun Kid 65. 1963, the September issue. Jack Kirby. And then number 69, where he meets Goliath. From 1964, front cover by Jack Kirby. And there's nothing like having the top 3 heroes in the same book, with Kid Colt and Rawhide Kid, and an unfortunate crease down the middle, but we just absolutely love them over here. That's number 89. Now how about some Kid Colt? Had to throw that in, number 34, from 1954. Front cover by Russ Heath. And then number 76, if I can get rid of that glare. Front cover by Joe Maneely. From January 1958. And Kid Colt number 77 from March of 1958. I want you to get a good close-up of the green person, the yellow person, the pink lady. I like how they put different colors for each person. This is covered by Joe Maneely. So I'm showing you some of my favorite covers. There's a nice Kid Colt Outlaw, number 99, July 1961. Cover by Jack Kirby. He's outnumbered. And then we have number 105, and I'm pointing out that precious little Comics Code Authority stamp is removed, and I've got a good crease in it, but I love them all to pieces. And next up is number 111, front cover by Jack Kirby. This is from July 1963. And number 114, front cover by Jack Kirby, January 1964. It's the return of Iron Mask. Who could resist picking that up off the newsstand? And here he is, kids, the Fat Man. Can't wait for that action figure, right? Kid Colt number 117. Very sweet. And then we have 118, front cover by Dick Ayers. September 1964. Have one little cover crease there. And it's a great crossover with the Two Gun Kid. This is issue number 125. The Day of the Gunslinger. And number 127, Iron Mask is back. And he's tougher than ever. Front cover by Larry Lieber, who was a very passable artist. March of 1966. Now this one's kind of funny to me. It's a number 134, May of 1967, front cover by Herb Trimp. But I don't know what Kid Colt is counting on to break his fall. I think it's like pro wrestling when you jump off the rope and the bad guy has to catch you. Here we go, number 135 from July 1967. Another cover by Herb Trimp, or Herb Trimpy. Your mileage may vary. And we have number 137, front cover by Dick Ayers. From November 1967. Looks like they got the drop on the kid. And number 138, from January of 1968. Front cover by Werner Roth. Great details. I know you're thinking, I wish Robin Hood would show up. Well, here he is. He's the Robin Hood Raiders. Number 129. March of 1968. Cover is also by Werner Roth. And let's not forget some Gunsmoke Western. I don't find these two readily available. I can always find Rawhide Kid, Kid Colt, and Two Gun, but I don't see too many Gunsmoke Western. That was by Jack Kirby, 1962. Here's another Gunsmoke Western. And somebody has decided to help me out by putting a little bit of white tape on the spine. Wasn't that thoughtful of them? Front cover by Jack Kirby, March 1962. And I thought I would end it on something I don't really get to see too much of around here. It's a copy of Wyatt Earp. It's number 9 from March of 1957, front cover by John Severin. Good old Atlas Comics with a nice date stamp there. Wyatt Earp. And I don't know if you have noticed it yet, but I'm wearing a Captain America bolo. Of course, I had to hand make this. You can't get these at Walmart. That's a crying shame. It ought to be a state law that you could be able to get a Captain America shield bolo tie at Walmart, but you know, all these marketing gurus, what do they know? So you end up having to make it yourself. Speaking of things that you make yourself, I recently picked up a couple of books of Gene Autry. Got them for like $2 each at a flea market here in town. But they didn't have dust jacket covers. Of course, you know me. That's not going to stop me. I am going to research and find out what they were supposed to look like. And I will find the most terrible photographs and sloppy, wrinkled pieces missing. And I have to figure out what was missing in the pieces and patch that together and figure out the right colors and if things were faded too much. So we'll start with this one. This nice little Gene Autry book. And I was able to determine this is what the front cover and the spine is always the hardest to figure out what it's supposed to look like. And the back cover. That's a nice Gene Autry hardback book, and it's basically a wraparound cover. Although Gene's here, but Gene is also here on the back cover. Gene is amazing. He can do that. He can do that. No wonder they said, this is the guy. We need to sing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, because he can bend time and space travel, and he's amazing. The other Gene Autry book, I made this jacket cover for. And by the way, you're wondering, I even got the little flaps. I saw a good picture of what was printed on the little flap, and so those are very difficult to do. But there's your spine. Now the color of the spine, I couldn't quite match up. It's supposed to be another wraparound cover, but every picture of a spine was very faded, because when you think about it, what's on the shelf, the spine gets exposed to the sunlight most often. So, but I was very pleased with the overall outcome. I thought it did pretty good. Once again, Gene is on the front and he's over here on the back. The man is everywhere. No wonder Charlton 66 likes Gene Autry. The guy's phenomenal. So, anyway, just thought I'd show those real quick. I also wanted to show this lovely little thing. My dad brought this back from Libya. He was stationed in West Germany and Libya. Back in the early 60s, we were on more friendly relations with Libya, and we had a base there. We had an Air Force base there. And so, here you go. Isn't that smooth? Isn't that pretty cool? In the pouch, it comes with two tiny little knives. One of them's not really a knife. One of them is more of a sharpening device that helps you keep this sharp. And like all of them, they come with the little bitty grooves, and this isn't coming out so good, but there's two grooves there. But isn't that nice? Now, some people call it a Gurkha knife. That was the name of the people that ran around carrying these. But isn't that? Talk about having a Crocodile Dundee moment when you pull out a real knife. So, just thought I'd quickly show you that. I'm trying to show you everything. And I usually do show a lot of old things. And you're not surprised by that. But I thought I would show something that's almost 2,000 years old. And I do not know how good this will look on camera. But that is what some people refer to as a widow's mite. Now, if you're familiar with what happened in the New Testament, a woman came in and she had her last coin. It's called a widow's mite. She was a widow. She had a couple of children. And she put that in at the temple. And Jesus made note of it. Now, mine isn't exactly as old as the coin she had. And this isn't that coin. So this was made a few years later. Probably about 18 years later. So around the year 44 AD, this was made by Agrippa. And if that name sounds familiar, Agrippa from the Bible. There was more than one, but that's Agrippa, 44 AD. So basically a very basic coin back then. I have no idea what this is worth, or if it's worth anything. This was sent to me by a coin guy that liked me. He liked some of the drawings I did on some old bulletin board that I was involved when, way before I discovered YouTube was a thing. So that was very nice of him. It was a nice man in Texas. His name was Joel, and he cleans pools. That's about all I remember from him, but that was really great. I wanted to show you that and maybe end on some nice, warm, fuzzy, philosophical note, regarding an old coin like that. But I, of course, couldn't think of anything. Do you have any interesting word of wisdom to leave them with? Kind of leave them on a real good foundation?
Remember, kids, always pick up your shells. Learned that the hard way from some Pinkerton detectives tried to pin something on me.
Well, that's good advice too. You like my bolo tie? Yeah. Anyway, on that note, we will say goodnight and happy drawing.
Goodbye.
Watch out for that tree!